If you don't take some risks in your content, then you're going to be toast, because the reality is, unless you have 100 videos on your channel, nobody's even going to know you exist. Staying safe with your videos before 100 on your channel is even riskier, because you're passing up on time you could be experimenting with ideas. So put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants and do something else.
Do something else!
If you want to grow with your video portfolio, you must get comfortable with risk. This applies to many things in life, but with regards to content, you have to take some chances in the beginning whilst you're figuring things out. Personally, I've taken so many risks in general in life, but I've also taken plenty of risks in my creative, from music, songs, videos, documentaries, books, short form, long form, graphics, company branding, you name it. In all forms of media, I've tried different approaches to see what works and what doesn't. I love when risks are taken and changes have been made. Then there is this sweet feeling of wholeness, all because you tried something new. When you think about video today, viewers are consuming so much content every single day that you have the liberty, especially in the beginning of your YouTube portfolio journey, to try different things, from thumbnail designs, different fonts, different formats. You can experiment to your heart's content. Many creators or entrepreneurs who are creating content sometimes chase virality when really they should be focused on regular uploads. So what could you be doing that's considered a risk in your content? Well, first I'd start by making a list of around 30 video ideas, right? You normally would do. Then create a secondary list, okay, and come up with 30 video ideas that you would never usually do, that could be related to your niche, your content, but just a totally different take on the idea itself. This way, when you see the ideas side by side, you can then actually compare them to see, how extreme of a risk each idea could be. And I have to point out that you also have to develop a I don't care because nobody cares mindset, meaning nobody's really going to be bothered in the beginning. So let loose, right? Let your hair down. You'll be fine. You'll start to refine ideas and delivery and formatting once you get something that actually works. Now, if you've never taken any risks in your content, of course, it might seem like a daunting thought, like I'm going to have to do something completely out of the box, right? Because you want to protect some sort of image, I don't know. But that really isn't going to serve you right now. And as Sean Cannell from Think Media says, you've got to punch fear in the face and just press record. And I've spoken to many people over the years who have an interest in, say, business or entrepreneurship or just generally making money on the internet, yet they always almost take forever to come around to an idea of putting themselves out there, or they just never do it and wonder why nothing is improving or changing in their lives. Now, think of it this way. You're not going to lose anything by trying something new, and most will respect you for making an attempt and trying. Then I want you to think about the alternatives to not taking risks in your content. For sure, you're not going to collect any valuable data on the content itself, and you might be depriving a group of people who were looking for that type of content. You never know who's watching your content, so you have to assume that everyone is and act as if that's the case. So you as a creator or team of creators and business people won't grow, and your business might not grow either. Now, revenue might halt and hit a ceiling because, let's face it, your content isn't reaching people. Now, there's plenty of factors why not taking risks in your videos can be detrimental to your progress. Also think of this. Others in your space might not be taking any risks, so people, aka potential customers, clients, might not be watching their content as much. Now, if you take a risk with an ad or format that gets people talking, then you have something to work with. If you don't get any interactions, then your content might be too safe. You then start asking questions like, are you being authentic? Are you either entertaining or educating in a value-based way, right? Is the content that you're making focus on solving the problem for someone else or for yourself, right? These are the questions that come to mind immediately. So if you haven't taken any risks at this point in your channel history, then I would be thinking, why is that? If you're familiar with the book Blue Ocean Strategy, then you might or might not know that the whole concept, you can create your own market, your own lane in uncontested space, as the authors consider the marketplace a blue ocean. Red oceans are the contested spaces where everyone is fighting for the crumbs. And these are the spaces where people say, my competitors. However, if you come up with new things, take risks when making or creating these things, you're effectively creating blue oceans for yourself. These are essentially wide open spaces in the marketplace that are all to yourself. When you take risks with your content, branding, messaging, you're getting closer to these blue ocean strategies, and they can really propel you forward. And sometimes I've found that when I take risks with certain types of content, I get new ideas off the back of that, more things to attempt and try in the future. And these thought patterns or ideas would never come to mind if I had gone risk averse all the time. And it's like there's something on the other side of risk, right? The unknown, the great, even makes you sink or swim. Either way, you're not going to know as a creator entrepreneur if you can sink or swim unless you actually try for real. So lay your head down. Don't be afraid to just give it a go. And you never know where your content might take you. I've done this numerous of times when it hits and your phone doesn't stop buzzing, your notifications all day long. It's a crazy feeling, right? And that is how you know you're onto a winner. But you've got to try something new. And if you're struggling with perfectionism, then watch this video. I break that down.